Shalom. This is Ron Singer and YouTube channel Israel Reclaiming the Birthright, Lesson 37. Next week is my father's birthday, Peretz Ben Mendel. He would be 111 years old. He was a good man. One of the things he said to me is, don't talk, do. So I'm going to make this a short one. The last lesson I gave, 36, was a kind of a meditation based on Parshat Balak and God's perspective of our people. And what I want to propose is a change in the shul service. Because rather than do repetitive, rote, Catholic-like, rote prayer over and over and over again, we would better spend that time pleasing our Creator by making ourselves more enlightened and more like what He has shown He wants us to be in Parshat Balak, and of course later on what our prophets teach us. So rather than be vile and use rote prayer, Maimonides, the Rambam, said that rote prayer is something bad. And by the way, it took a few hundred years for him to become mainstream because he made the mistake of not explicitly saying that we would return in our current bodies with the resurrection of the dead, the Tchiyat HaMeitim. I don't believe that was a real reason. I think most people were just envious of that he was such a prolific writer and thinker. But anyway, if we take a look at Parshat Balak and we discuss this in shul, I think that it would please our Creator enormously rather than annoy Him with the current prayers we've been using for hundreds and hundreds of years. So let's imagine we're going to discuss in shul this Shabbat Parshat Balak and how God sees His people. And we're going to discuss how we can become who our Creator wants and build the tent of Shem, the Ohel of Shem, which Japhet, as Noah prophesied, would want to dwell in. And the tent of Shem is not a synagogue. You'll find that out real quickly. So when we look at Parshat Balak and see who we are and discuss it, we will elevate our consciousness and we will make ourselves more likely to want to really please God. Because now we're under a delusion thinking that we're pleasing God with all these rote prayers and how good we are. We managed to pray for 3-4 hours, in shul on Shabbat waiting for Kiddush. I mean, this is really, when you think about it, a monstrously stupid concept. Because God knows how great He is, and telling Him over and over and over again how great He is ridiculous. Look at the creation that He made. How can anyone say it's not great? It's ridiculous. But what God really wants is for us to do exactly what He said He wants us to do, which we can find in the written Torah and in the Tanach. And we can use Parshat Balak as a paradigm to help us get in sync with our Creator. So this is my message, basically. Let us use the time together to shape our children, to shape ourselves, to take the Torah and make it connected to everything we do, everything we think, how we look at the world, how we feel about each other, how we create our businesses, how we create our products, with what love and care and quality products we put into and to them. Remember, it's not about us giving charity. It's about being charitable about how we do things. Peter Singer wrote an interesting article once in Reason magazine. He compared the life of Julius Rosenwald with Andrew Carnegie. So in a nutshell, Andrew Carnegie believed that God wanted you to do well so you could do good. This is a typical robber baron philosophy. You steal, you murder, you do all kinds of terrible things to get to a position of power, like John D. Rockefeller Jr. You subvert the entire medical establishment of the whole world, and then you give charity and you build a Riverside Church, which is really, it's an amazing thing if you go in there. But that's not the point. In contrast, Julius Rosenwald took the bankrupt Sears and Roebuck Company back in 1910 and turned it into the most incredible business the world has ever seen. His philosophy that God wants you to do is that God wants you to do good so that you will do well. In other words, you do things in a good, godly way, so God blesses you, and then this is your contribution to mankind. Personally, I happen to live in a Sears Roebuck kit home, and it's really amazing. Anyway, so this is who Israel is supposed to be. A people who do what God wants, and we can start by loving God in every breath, in every way we look at things and think about things and feel about things. And that love of God emanates into all of our thinking and planning and production and sharing of our soul's talents. Anyway, so that's it for my father's birthday, and may God bless the soul of Peretz Ben Mendel of Kenya, and I sure would like to see him in the Tchiyat HaMeitim. So have a good day, and we'll see you next time.